All right. Week 2, fantasy football.
Fuck fantasy football! Bullshit!
Purchase your beats today.
You can't stop me, I'm on that grind for that paper. Haters can't keep up cause they know my moves are major. Yeah, boy, you know we do it big. Been a hustler ever since I was a kid. We taking over. If you ain't with it, get with it cause we the shit. We taking over. We finna head over.
Now, that was what we call an overreaction. But I do have Nate here with me.
Whoa.
This is something else. Rookie in the league. How are you liking it so far?
I'm liking it.
Yeah.
1-1. I feel like I got a chance. You know, it's gonna be good.
Once you guys get healthy, I think you got a good shot.
Well, you know.
But I think what Nate and I are trying to say is that we're having fun. We are open for business for trades. So please send us some trades. Because I'm 0-2, and my wife just whooped my ass. So it's tough to go to bed at night.
Romo's on the trading block. If anybody wants him.
Romo's on the trading block.
Offering them up.
What are you looking in return?
A washing machine, $5. Anything you guys got, I don't even care.
Kirk originally told me when Des Bryant got injured that he would be willing to trade Des Bryant for a piece of cake. And I feel like that's kind of where you're at.
Yeah.
Tony Romo.
Yeah.
Oh, we've all got issues, but we'll get into it here. We will start, of course, as always, with last week's matchup. First one here, we will. This is myself against my lovely wife Jessica. I got a pretty good outing from Eli there, 23 points, better than 7 from last week, so that was great.
Nice.
Peyton, he was doing terrible, which wasn't great for me with Demarius. But then at the end of that game, he decided he didn't want to be 400 years old. He wanted to be 24 again, and he lit it up. So he still got 26 points. Jamal Charles did well for me, but Gio came out of nowhere and got Jessica 13, which was BS. Even more BS, CJ Anderson only with 2 points. Even more BS, Dion motherfucking Lewis with 17? Get the fuck out of here. Alright, so Jessica last week was like, ooh, I want to wake up early and get a player. And I was going to try to get James Jones, but Sickinga got him. More on that later. So I was like, okay, yeah, whatever player you want to get as long as it's not James Jones. We set our alarms. We wake up. James Jones is taken. I'm pissed. And she's like, I just got Dion Lewis. I'm like, you could have got him 2 minutes before the game started. And turns out this motherfucker goes off and gets 17 points. Antonio Brown, 27 points. Jarvis Landry, 11. I was happy with Rob Gronkowski only getting 17. I was ecstatic he only got 17. John Brown, 4. If she would have put in David Johnson instead of John Brown, motherfucking math, she would have got 156. So, oh, and by the way, Ravens getting -1 against Oakland.
It's a topsy-turvy week this week.
The last 2 weeks have really been a little out there. And I guess this is all just kind of a summary. I scored 71 points, which was actually about a 20-point increase from last week, which is great. Jessica scored 144. To put it in perspective, last year the record for most points was set by Justin in week 8 or something, 9. He got 150. And Jessica got 144 in week 2. So
it's a savaging.
You know, and she's in my division, so that's great. So we'll move on. The Chimpy Kenyans, with the delightful picture of Mr. Barack James Obama, not his actual middle name, against Rick. I'm kind of surprised that Rick pulled off the victory here. I know Justin's playing without Le'Veon Bell, but
big game from Russell Wilson.
Big game from Russell Wilson against Green Bay. That kind of surprised me. And then even bigger, D'Angelo Williams, 26 points. Rick, congratulations, because D'Angelo, well, you don't have D'Angelo, so more on that later, but he ain't scoring more than 5 the rest of the year unless Le'Veon gets injured. That fool is done. Cardinals defense 17, that's crazy. Justin outscored me by 3, getting 74 points, but Rick with 112, very nicely done. little surprised considering some of the weak performances, but that was good.
Hello?
Who was that?
Grand Valley Alumni Association.
Oh,
asking
God,
me-
it's just shit! I
asking
thought it
me
was
for
something.
money.
Yeah.
I got
Ferris does that for me sometimes. You okay?
I have like $4. You can have that. It's fine.
$4. Well, if you're giving it that, I mean. Okay. Now on to Dave. And just so everybody knows, because I've heard this a couple times, Team Paul is actually Dave's team, not Paul's team. His last name is Paul, first name is Dave, so. And Chalupa Batman with Tony. I'm eating this. Is super unprofessional. Not that I'm a professional. Really close game, 98-95. I thought Tony had it. But
Big game for Mason Crosby.
big game for Mason Crosby, 16. Broncos defense, 19. They're shaping out to be the best defense in the NFL. Andrew Luck, only 10 points. Dave, I will trade you for Andrew Luck. I will trade you. He probably would too.
That'd be nice. Flacco ain't gonna do shit next week.
Who are they against, Cincinnati?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great.
It's gonna be rough.
Not great. Tony, not bad. 15 from Doug Baldwin, which is kind of surprising. Julio, only 13. Crabtree got 17, so maybe that ended up working out in his favor. Actually, it definitely did because he traded away Jonas Gray to Cam, and Jonas Gray ended up getting cut 2 days later. So
Good trade.
good trade for Tony there. But Tony's got a lot of. Andre Ellington was out. Stafford's a bum. Victor Cruz was out. Martavis Bryant was out. Todd Gurley was out. So he really needs the starters to perform. They did, just not quite enough. Dave got the win there. Cam against Micah. I don't know what I was looking at. Cam had a terrible week. Had it not been for like a late score by Jordan Matthews and a late 40-yard run from DeMarco, he was not doing well. I think when we checked, he had 26 points.
Cam started out a rough week. I'm surprised he reached 75, to be honest.
Yeah, it was pretty rough. Carson Palmer, I was listening to some guy on ESPN. He was a former GM, and he said that Carson Palmer is actually playing the best football right now. I don't know if that translates to fantasy, but I'm sure Cam would be willing to trade Carson Palmer. I asked, he's not really willing to trade Aaron Rodgers, which is kind of a bummer.
Weird.
Yeah.
It's weird. I didn't think he'd be that tight on him.
Who would have known? But yeah, Micah got terrible outing from Sam Bradford. AP did pretty well. Huge game from Odell Beckham. That's why he kept
Peterson
him.
is a bum. Everybody knows.
Adrian Peterson apparently is a bum. Your thoughts on Matt Stafford after that game?
Also a bum.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay. That's on video.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm willing to admit that on video.
Yahtzee! All right, Cam, you're next. I'm coming for you. You guys will all find out how terrible he is. Oh, you gotta protect him. He's got to make a fucking pass too. It goes both ways. Amari Cooper, pretty big game. Lots of zeros here. 0, Arian Foster, Deshaun Jackson, Delaney Walker, Michael Floyd. Micah, step up your bench. I'm willing to trade. And Kirk, I love the new team name and logo. Bill Cosby's Sleepers. Kirk was kind of a sleeper this week. Didn't think he would win, especially against Nate, who scored the most points last week. But Nate had a couple of duds. Dwayne Allen, nothing. Drew Brees, only 14. He is terrible this year. He is absolutely awful. Alfred Morris, only 6. Matt Jones, who I just picked up, gonna eventually take over that job. Carlos Hyde didn't do anything. Seahawks D, it's just not great. But really, Kirk was saved by Allen Robinson, who I just traded to him. And that's how this season is kind of going. And finally, last but most certainly not least, we have the team name now is called As Bad as the Lions versus the Rookie of the Year. Now let me stop and just say, I really do think you will get Rookie of the Year honors in our league.
I am the only rookie, so I hope I would contend.
Yep. Tony Romo, that's the big one. He got 6 points.
I had
broken everything right up in this area.
He broke his arm off. He broke his shoulder off.
Yep.
It was a rough week in injuries this week. I mean, Romo went down early with only 6 points. LaShawn McCoy still with the hamstring, not getting a full workload. Lamar Miller went out with an ankle injury in the second quarter with 3 points. DeAndre Hopkins was a bum this week. Tevin Coleman went out with fractured ribs in the third. He only got me 9. And now Jason Witten is now questionable with 2 sprained ankles and a sprained knee coming from
Really?
ESPN.com. Yes.
When was that?
If I read it correctly. He played with them
Oh.
during the game, but I saw him limping off. But
Okay, let me ask you this. Now, obviously, we know you're willing to trade Romo. If you
Romo's
can
on
get,
block.
If you can get value for him. What are your thoughts on Witten now that Romo's out? So you were high on him, and it paid off the first week. I was not high on him. I was wrong on that.
I like the Romo Witten handcuff. They're best friends. They do work together.
They do,
But now, who's the backup for? I don't even know his name.
For Dez?
Yeah, no,
Terrence.
for Romo.
Brandon Weeden.
Brandon Weeden.
Yes.
He ran the ball a lot, and when he did throw, he didn't look pretty.
Not
I mean,
great. No.
So, I'm thinking Witten might be getting replaced. I don't know who I'd replace him with. I don't even have a tight end on my bench. But looking at the other side, Sickinger's team did not perform well. He had a monster game out of Roethlisberger, 36 points. But Eddie Lacy, 0 points. Jeremy Hill, -1 points. Brandon Cook, 6 points.
Martellus Bennett only 4. And Martellus Bennett now has to go without Jay Cutler for at least 1 week because Jay Cutler's out at least a week with that injury. So Martellus Bennett, his value drops significantly.
Terrence Williams as a highest scorer with 14, other than Roethlisberger. Both of us had a rough week. It looks like I had the rougher week. Flying high on Thursday night with Emmanuel Sanders getting 20 points. I was loving that, feeling good, and then Sunday hit, and I wanted to hurt myself.
Okay, so you got Joe Flacco coming in, going to be playing Cincinnati. You're not loving that matchup.
Not loving that matchup right now.
So, you guys, we are telling you, for those of you that are watching this, which is Micah, Tyler, and Cam.
Trades on trades on trades. That was one more trade than I said, but that's cool. I want that trade too.
I'm willing to trade.
Make the offers.
For me, I just want it to be known that I still have faith in my guys. I think they will turn it around. But I think those guys are going to be better off going to a team that has a better shot at making the playoffs. I think my guys are going to turn it around, but I don't have time for that. I'm 0-2, you know?
In the division.
Nonetheless. Yeah. All divisional games. So I'm 0-2. I don't have time to wait. So I'm not going to sell them for nothing because I do think they will do well. But I am open to everything. So get creative, you know? I don't have a lot of picks. I've traded them. I kind of went all in this year, and that didn't do great.
I'm looking for trades, but I'm not super worried. I believe there's only one person that's 2-0 right now. Everybody else is 500.
Two people, 2-0.
I know it's still early in the season, but 1-1. Not super nervous yet.
Yeah, it's just.
But let me put this out there on the video. Make it worth my while. LaShawn McCoy's on the table.
Woo!
LaShawn McCoy is
That
on
is
the table.
serious
Make it worth
stuff.
my while, though.
That is serious stuff. Okay, let me ask you this: you need players, or are picks going to help it out?
I'd be open to either.
Wow!
I'd be open to either.
Rolling those dice. That's what I do at the craps table.
Nice.
All right, so congratulations. As bad as the Lions, aka Tyler,
Pulled out a win.
pulled out a win. Tyler's pulling out. Okay. All right, so we'll look at the standings now on this Google Doc. This is pretty cool. I just put in the scores here. Does everything else. So we obviously have the scores there, which we went over. If we look at the division, the Honolulu Blue Division, Jessica now 2-0, averaging 122 points per week, which is crazy.
It's bananas.
Rick and Justin both at 1-1. Rick is scoring an average of 94 per week. Justin 1-1, only 75 per week, but he gets Le'Veon Bell back this week.
It's gonna be big.
And good old Alex down there, 0-2, bringing up the rear.
Somebody's got to be the caboose.
63 points per week, so not great. Silver Division, we got Micah, Dave, Cam, and Tony. Micah, the other undefeated team, averaging only 92 points. Dave, 1-1, is averaging more than Micah, who's atop the leaderboard. Cam is actually 1-1, also outscoring Micah. And this was kind of the opposite of last year. Micah was like the highest scorer, but had a terrible record because of the schedule that he had. Ended up winning the whole thing, so it worked for him. So it's kind of the opposite for Micah. And then the black division, your division, which turns out that's a tougher division than I thought it'd be. That's a tough division. But Nate Trammell's still at the top. Everybody in the black division is 1-1. So you're sitting okay. You got a fighting chance for sure. Everybody 1-1. Nate Trammell averaging 97 points. Tyler averaging 96. Kirk averaging 94. And you're averaging 89. Everybody in the black division. That is a tight race. If you go onto the Google Doc, everybody, just a little thing, you can see the average. But you can also see how many times you have been the highest scorer. So you can keep track of how many $5 bills you got coming your way. Dollar bill, yo. Now we also have on here part of the Google Doc. If the playoffs were to end today, the number 1 seed would be Jessica taking on Cam, who'd be the number 8 seed. Right below that would be the number 4 seed in Dave taking on Tyler, the number 5 seed. Micah would be the number 2 seed taking on Rick, the 7 seed. Nate Trammell would be the 3 seed taking on Kirk, the 6 seed. You just got bumped out, so you'd be in 9th place, but God bless you, you ruined my video a second time.
Start it again.
From the top. You'd be in 9th, but that means you'd get the number 1 overall pick. So,
True.
Pros and cons, that's why you play.
I still want the win.
Gotta go for the wins. Justin would be 10th, Tony would be 11th, and I'd be 12th, which would give me the 4th pick. I'm in dead last. I do not like this feeling, believe it or not. I'm not a fan.
It's not fun.
And then on this Google Doc, we also have trades. Only one trade happened for this week. Again, it really can only happen today because we do the videos on Tuesdays. So you could trade on Wednesday or Thursday, or really even Friday, Saturday, as long as they haven't played. But as of right now, these are the trades that have gone through. Well, I guess since my last video, I guess there was the Tony and Justin. Tony traded away Danny Woodhead, Larry Fitzgerald to Justin, and in return got Doug Baldwin and Todd Gurley. Obviously, it kind of worked out for Tony. Doug Baldwin had a great game, and Gurley, you just sit on him a little bit longer, and finally he'll start playing and hopefully get just some points. And then earlier today, Rick and Cam traded. Rick traded away Golden Tate, D'Angelo Williams, and a 4th-round pick to Cam for DeMarco Murray, 8th round. Your thoughts? Go.
DeMarco, I don't think is performing this year, but you're trading him for a running back who's going to stop performing this year. Golden Tate's a good wide receiver, but he's got Stafford as a quarterback, and Stafford doesn't throw the ball to the receivers that can catch the ball. He throws them to the receivers that can't catch the ball. I feel like it's evenly not that great for anybody.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Doesn't really benefit either guy a ton. There is something to be said when you trade for a Lions player because you get to cheer for them. So I will say that. If everything is even amongst all else, you do have that as a factor. Cam gets a 4th round, so now he has a 4th and a 5th round that he's traded for, only giving rid of an 8th. He got a 5th round from Tony. But yeah, D'Angelo, I think he's a great handcuff if you have Le'Veon, but Cam does not. So D'Angelo is essentially going to take up a roster or a bench spot without really being able to produce for you. Golden Tate,
hit or miss. Hit or miss.
Same thing with DeMarco. Golden Tate and DeMarco kind of.
I feel like DeMarco is better because if he plays like he can play, he is a good fantasy player.
Well, I think the ceiling is definitely higher on DeMarco. So, I think the Eagles will turn it around. They have a new quarterback in their system. Sam Bradford's eventually going to figure it out. Chip Kelly is not only the coach, he is the GM. And his job is on the line this year because they didn't perform last year because he traded away LaShawn McCoy and he got rid of all these black players because he's a racist. So his job is on the line. He paid a ton for DeMarco Murray. I don't think he's just going to let DeMarco Murray continue to get negative rushing yards. But they did use Darren Sproles a lot in the passing game. I think if they can start to... The goal is for them to get to a lead early. That's his system. He likes to go fast, get to a lead early, and then they run a lot. If they can get to that point, I think DeMarco becomes very valuable. Golden Tate, I think we've kind of seen what we've seen with him. I don't think he's going to get any better. He's going to have the 2-point games, the 10-point games, and back and forth.
I don't think it's him, though. I don't think it's Golden Tate. I think it's his quarterback.
God, this makes me so happy!
For those of you who know me, I'm a Lions fan, and I will praise Stafford until this weekend when I wanted to kill him. But it's true. Golden Tate can catch the ball. Golden Tate can run the ball. He can get the yards after reception. he's got to get the ball first, and he doesn't. Or he gets the ball when he's already in double coverage and interceptions happen, or he gets sacked right away, or he doesn't get the ball because he's in fucking double coverage, and Matthew Stafford doesn't know how to read double coverage, and he goes, I can get it in there because I'm Matthew Stafford. And he bullets the fucking ball in, and then somebody smacks it out of the air, and then he throws his hands in the air because he doesn't know what the fuck happened. So,
Man, this sounds familiar. Can we get Cam on this board? Can we get him on board with us?
Cam will deny just to deny. He's a punk ass bitch.
You heard it. Cam's a punk ass bitch who lost, and he just traded a guy. Okay, now of course, I dissed Cam, and then the next thing, the Commish vs. Cam League. We had $200 that we used ESPN's preseason dollar values. We went back and forth on a snake draft and drafted guys. My team did 1 point worse than last week. Last week I had 89 in this league, so I got 88. Nobody really performing. Greg Olson over the last 2 weeks has got a combined 8 points. He's supposed to get that per week. Adam Vinatieri, arguably the best kicker, 1 point combined for the last 2 weeks. The Seahawks only got 3 points this week. Hyde only got 5. Steve Smith actually did well, so did AP. Lamar Miller, we went over that. He's combined for 10 points over the last 2 weeks. And then Ryan Tannehill, only 27. It's not great. Cam just murked me. The Cardinals got 17. Gostkowski got 19. Gronk got 17. Tyler Eifert got 10. Antonio Brown, 27. Carson Palmer, 29. Even with Amir Abdullah scoring 0, Cam got 128 to my 88. Congrats, Cam. You have a 2-0 lead on me. This is not looking good. And then I think this is not the last thing. I think it's not the last thing that we're going to go over now, which is the Micah against myself. Every week we pick kind of the head-to-head matchups, who we think will win. We both picked myself to beat Jessica. We were both terribly wrong. I picked Justin to beat Rick. He had it the other way around. He was right. We both picked Tony, and we're wrong on that. We both picked Micah, correct. We both picked Nate Turmel after his huge week. We were wrong. And then I picked against you. Micah had faith in you. Micah was an idiot. You should know better than to have faith in Nate Marquini.
Hey, Micah had faith in players that did not perform this week. And
That's the
injuries.
story of my freaking team right now.
4 injuries, though. Your players just suck. Mine got hurt
that's-
and left the game and never came back and
That's
didn't
true.
score any motherfucking points.
That's true. That's true. So we'll go through the first 5 matchups. Alex against Rick. Micah picked Rick. I picked Rick, hoping to switch things up. Who do you think will win?
I'm going to have to go
Hold
with
on,
Rick.
hold on. We have each matchup right here for you. So you can see what ESPN is actually showing me to get 3 points more.
I'm still going to go with Rick. You
Going
got
with Rick.
You got C.J. Anderson in there. He's not performing. He hasn't been performing. Peyton has been showing that he is not favoring Demaryius Thomas.
Truth.
He's been getting few targets, and those that he has been getting, he hasn't been catching.
Yeah.
Cam Newton has not been performing very well, so I don't think you're going to get many quarterback points from there. I don't know what happened with Russell Wilson last week, but I didn't figure him as a huge scorer, but he's projected for 21 this week.
Well, he's against Chicago. That helps.
Well, there you go. Again, against Chicago, Marshawn Lynch, 16-point projection, I think is a little bit low.
That's low. 16 is low?
Against Chicago?
Okay. You heard it here. You heard it here. He hasn't performed well, Marshawn.
Yeah, but Chicago's defense is trash.
That's very true. And they don't have Jay Cutler, so they're going to turn it over in their own side of the field multiple times.
Yes. So I'm going to go with Rick on this one.
Going with Rick. I don't blame you there. Again, that's what we picked as well. We'll just throw these up. Dual Monis. All right, Justin against Jessica. I went with Jessica. Micah went with Jessica. I'll throw up. There you go. There's the matchup on ESPN. Your thoughts on that?
I'm going to have to go with Jessica. She's going to ride that train, I think, and just keep it running.
Now, on here, Justin does not have Le'Veon Bell because he hasn't switched his lineup yet. I mean, does that...
I think Le'Veon's going to have a 1-week transition period. He's going to get back into it. He's not going to do great, and then the next couple weeks he's going to explode. But I think he's going to take a week to get the shit churned again. So I'm going to go with Jessica on this one.
Okay. We're all in agreeing there. Dave against Micah. This is where we start to split. I'm going with Dave. Micah is going with himself. I have here Micah's reasonings for all these picks. Micah said, and this is a quote, "Still not picking against myself, and Julian Edelman is a tool." So he does not care for Julian Edelman. He's going with himself. Can't blame him. He's undefeated so far. I'm picking against him. No one's going to go undefeated this year. Someone's got to lose eventually. He's putting in Arian Foster. So these 86, that's a tie with Arian Foster projected at 0. They're thinking he might come back this week. He might get some points. Your thoughts? You're the tiebreaker here, man.
Let me look. I'm going to have to go with Dave on this one.
Going with Dave.
He's got Andrew Luck at quarterback, and I don't think he's going to have another shitty week like he had this week. Matt Forte got, no touches last week, so he should be primed to get better than 9 points, I think. Although he is going up against Seattle's D, so we'll see what happens there. The Broncos D versus the Lions. Pick City. Get ready for interceptions. And T.Y. Hilton, always a solid pick. I think he'll put up that many points. I think Dave's going to pull this one out.
All right, Micah. Sucks to be you. It's not unanimous, but we have voted. You're going to lose. All right, Cam against Tony. Micah is picking Cam, as am I, but Micah's opinion is that Tony's team just isn't producing anything special. And it's tough matchups for Cam's running backs, but he's still going to give Cam the edge. So DeMarco's against the Jets and Forsett against Cincinnati. Then you have LeGarrette Blount, who didn't get any points last week, against Jacksonville, who's actually got a pretty good defense. He's going with Cam, despite all of that.
I'm going to have to go with Cam on this one just because of the matchups that Tony has. I mean, Tannehill hasn't been doing super great from what I've seen.
And they're against the Bills' defense.
Against the Bills' defense. Amir Abdullah has not been performing to where I think he should. I think that was a good pickup, but I don't think he's been performing well. And he's going against Denver's defense. Tampa Bay, Doug Martin Tampa Bay is just atrocious. I don't even know how to describe them right now.
And they're against Houston, which is a great defense.
Julio Jones, again, he didn't have a big week last week. I don't know if he'll have a big week this week. And he's going up against the Dallas defense.
Yep.
I just think you got a lot of tough matchups this week, and I don't think you're going to pull out as many points as you think you're going to.
I have been surprised at Greg Olson's lack of production. He's against New Orleans, who right now looks to be one of the, if not the worst team. If Greg Olson doesn't get it turned around this week, I think Tony's in some serious trouble. Already being 0-2, Greg Olson, one of his keepers, not putting it together. You're supposed to, at tight end, you were supposed to basically, outside of Gronk, win every matchup against somebody. He's not doing that. I look for Greg Olson to have a big week, but if not, might start to look at moving him. Next we have, we have another unanimous, at least from Micah and I. Nate against Nate. Let's see. Micah, his quote, "Injuries everywhere for Marquini."
Yeah. I'm not going to vote against myself. That's a foolish thing to do. I'm going to pick me, but it is going to be a tough week. Joe Flacco going up against the Cincy D, it's going to be tough. LaShawn McCoy, even though they're going up against Miami, Miami's defense isn't a slouch. They're not great, but they're not a slouch, and he hasn't been performing like regular. I still got Lamar Miller in there, who is questionable, but he's also going up against that Buffalo's D, and it's not pretty for them. Emmanuel Sanders, I think, is going to have a big week. He's going up against Detroit, and their secondary has not looked super stellar. DeAndre Hopkins go up against Tampa Bay. I feel like that's favorable. Tampa Bay's secondary is almost virtually non-existent, so it should be good. I still got Witten in there, but without Romo, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I think one advantage you have right now, Termel is still playing Drew Brees, who I think may not even play next week. Carlos Hyde is injured. Dwayne Allen is injured.
Injuries on injuries.
This is the injury bowl. This is the injury bowl. If you had to pick one of your players to just surprisingly go off, who do you think it'll be?
Surprisingly go off, I would...
Maybe not that surprisingly, but I mean compared to what they're projected.
I think Emmanuel Sanders is going to have a big day.
Yep.
Peyton has been throwing much better recently. He's been showing favoritism towards Emmanuel Sanders with 2 late-game touchdowns last week. Detroit's D is lax. And he has shown that even against a good defense, he can catch the ball. So I think that Emmanuel Sanders is going to have a big day.
I agree. And then the last one, we were kind of split on this. God, I love that Bill Cosby look. Tyler against Kirk. Micah said,
Game of the week.
this is Game of the Week. You're right. Oh, my gosh.
Game of the week! We should get a cutscene.
I one at a time. I got the intro this week. Okay, so, I'll just say first, this is Micah's prediction. He's going with Tyler as the upset pick, according to ESPN's projections, although Tyler made some changes, so now it's not really an upset, but it's okay. And this is his quote. I repeat, Frank Gore is garbage. Brady does Brady and puts up big points against Jacksonville. And then he signed it Micah Garcia, so we know it's him. Okay, so if we look, I usually with the matchup of the week, I go position by position. If we look at quarterback, Mariota's been doing pretty well, but you got to go with Brady. I think he's one of the top two, if not the number one fantasy quarterback so far. Against Jacksonville, they have a decent defense, but Brady's just gonna light them. He's gonna rip them a new one.
Brady's been doing good this past 2 weeks. I mean, last week he got 41 points against who'd they play? I don't even remember.
Buffalo.
Against Buffalo. So Buffalo's D ain't no joke.
Yeah.
And he got 41 points, and now he's going up against Jacksonville.
Preach.
Brady's gonna get some points this week.
Yep.
Marcus Mariota, good quarterback. He had an explosive first week against Tampa Bay, but Tampa Bay sucks dicks. Who'd they play last week?
Who did? Tennessee?
Yeah.
Cleveland.
I don't know how he did anyway, so it doesn't matter. And he's
It
playing
was
Indiana
middle
this
of the road.
week. I got to give the nod to Brady, obviously.
He had 19 last week.
19 last
still
week.
Not bad. Projected 19 against Indy, though. It's going to be a tougher defense. Yeah, got to go Brady. Jeremy Hill against Chris Ivory. I'm going with the surprise Ivory pick. Jeremy Hill got -1 last week. He's against Baltimore's defense, which is tough. Chris Ivory, the little bit that I watched of him last night, he looked really good. Even though he didn't put up great fantasy numbers, he was doing well in the football sense. And against Philly, Dallas was able to kind of run wild on him. I'm going with Ivory as the upset pick.
I'm going to go with common sense. I'm going to say Jeremy Hill.
Okay.
I think the Eagles' D is good enough that they will keep Chris Ivory in check. And I think Jeremy Hill just had an off week last week. It was bizarre. Last week was a bizarre fucking week. I don't even know.
So was week one. You were just the beneficiary of it.
That's true. That's true.
Okay. James Starks against Latavius Murray. Now this could change depending on how Eddie Lacy plays. Because right now Eddie Lacy is out. But even if Eddie Lacy plays, apparently they're going to split carries. So because I don't have faith in James Starks and I don't have faith in 50% Eddie Lacy over Latavius Murray, I'll go Latavius Murray. Plus they're playing Cleveland. They've shown they have a pretty good defense against pass and against quarterbacks. But against the run, I think Latavius Murray will actually do pretty well.
I agree.
Okay. Kansas City also has an okay defense. Staying with Green Bay. Tyler's got Randall Cobb, and Kirk has got Dante Moncrief in there. I actually like Moncrief. I think he did well. I traded him away to Kirk. But I feel like you got to go Cobb. He hasn't really done anything to push us away. He hasn't been explosive, but 9 points and 11 points. He's been consistent, and that was against Chicago's not great. But against Seattle, to put up 116 yards against Seattle, I think he can do at least that against Kansas City. So I'm going with Cobb on that one.
I will also go with Cobb. I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than Andrew Luck, and I think Randall Cobb's a more favorable target for a better quarterback than Dante will be for a less favorable quarterback.
The wide receiver 2, Travis Benjamin, Cleveland wide receiver. He went off last week for 29 points, had 14 the week before. So he's done well.
You don't go that fucking well.
Yeah. But unfortunately, I mean, they don't know what they're doing with quarterback. It's either Johnny Football one day, it's McCown the other day. They're going back and forth. I don't think he can really sustain it. I will say Steve Smith did very well against Oakland this past week, getting 15. But I don't... Travis Benjamin, it's one of those... He's got to do it for like 4 games before I have faith in him. Allen Robinson did well last year. I think he'll do well again this year. They are against New England, which kind of sucks. But 27 points last week. I'm going with tough pick, but I'm going with Allen Robinson.
I will go with Travis Benjamin. I think New England's D is going to be too tough. I think Jacksonville is not strong enough in their offensive line to give him enough time to throw the ball. I'm going to go with Travis Benjamin.
All right, at tight end, we got Travis Kelce for Kirk. For Tyler, it's putting Eric Ebron in instead of Martellus Bennett. Kind of makes sense. Martellus Bennett, you don't have Cutler, and you're against Seattle. Not a great combination there, but I do not have any faith in Ebron. He's been catching touchdowns, 11 points one week, 10 the next week. He's been a target of Stafford in the end zone, but against Denver's defense, which is the number one defense right now, I don't have any faith in that. Travis Kelce didn't have a great week last week, but again, that was against Denver's defense, only 5 points. Against Houston's defense, he put up 22. I'm going with Travis Kelce.
Me too.
All right.
I have nothing to say about that.
Okay, and then at the flex, we got Brandon Cooks against Jeremy Maclin. Brandon Cooks put up 4 points and 6 points, averaging 5. Jeremy Maclin put up 5 points and 5 points, averaging 5. Jeremy Maclin's against Green Bay. Brandon Cooks at Carolina. Similar defense. They're both away. I'm actually giving this one a push. I don't really see either one of them outperforming the other one. Agreed. We're moving right along. The Bills' defense against Miami. Patriots against Jacksonville. The Bills' defense is really good, but it's Patriots against Jacksonville. I don't have any faith in Blake Bortles. I think Bill Belichick and his defense are going to do what they do. I'm picking the Patriots.
I'm going to go with the Patriots, too. I don't think Miami's going to throw the ball all that much, to be honest. They haven't been throwing the ball that much. They haven't been doing much anything, to be honest.
They really
and not giving the ball to Lamar Miller and he's breaking ankles and shit.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
Fuck you, indeed. And then finally the kicker.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares, but Dan Bailey, against Atlanta, I like that better than Nick Folk against... who gives a shit? I don't know.
Can never tell the kicker.
So I think I'm tallying up to be 6-4. If I give the push, I give them each a point. 6-4, I'm picking Kirk. I don't know what the total was, but I believe you actually picked Tyler to win. So we're kind of split on that. So that's where we are on that. That's all I have for this week. Did you want to make a final case for trading? We want trades, people. We want motherfucking trades.
Make offers. Send
offers.
me offers. LaShawn McCoy on the table.
I'll trade you for LaShawn McCoy.
You ain't got nothing I want.
Damn, I just got roasted on my show.
Make those trades.
Make those trades, everybody. All right. Everybody have a good week. Good luck to everyone except for Rick. That's who I'm playing. Who are you playing? Nate Termel. Good luck to everybody except for Rick and Nate Termel. Hopefully you guys lose.